This conference will now be recorded.
Very good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of our Honorable Secretary General, Dr. G.P. Agarwal and Dr. Sanjeev Layak, Executive Secretary, WASME, heartily welcome Mr. Anshav Jain, Founder and MD, Bringle Academy, for contributing his valuable and precious time to make available for live webinar series 4, Idea to Unicorn, a billion-dollar dream, finance, legal and investments. My special thanks to Mr. Anshav Jain for partnering WASME in fourth webinar series. I also welcome all the dignitaries who have taken our valuable time to participate in this webinar. Let me brief about WASME, a global organization having member representatives in more than 100 countries, spearheading the cause and development promotion of SMEs worldwide through policy advocacy, information dissemination, conferences, seminars, events, trainings, publication, network linkages, and many more since 1980. WASME has the consultative and observer status of United Nations. Finance, legal, and investments are backbone and key components for carrying out businesses. Not taking much time, inviting Mr. Anshav Jain, founder and MD Bringle Academy, to put his thoughts on this topic. Welcome, Anshav sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Megha, for such a kind introduction. And I'm really excited for this webinar. And I am just sharing my screen right now. Hope you are able to see that. Okay, just a moment, looks like. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm welcoming all of you out here who are coming for the fourth session of Design Your Unicorn. And I'll just want to go through the starting phase of it so that you can link back from your entire session. And I'll definitely talk about who I am, what is my story, why we are doing it, Design Your Unicorn. So please wait till the end of this session and you'll be able to understand that why in the entire journey, right from when you have just a business idea or you're running a small business with 5-10 employees, or maybe you're only co-founders who are running this organization, and eventually how you scale it up to $1 billion revenue or a $1 billion valuation. What are investors looks for? What do investors look for? How do you manage your finances? How do you manage your cost? What important things you should be taking care of so that you're right, you do not spend too much on marketing and you basically grow your business step by step. And as I always talk about it, business is not a one stage journey. You cannot reach to become a unicorn or a sustainable organization in just one day. What you need is a step-by-step process, and there are 5 stages which you need to really become a sustainable, adaptable, and scalable organization. And the first aspect which starts, okay, am I audible to everybody? I just saw a message from Uttam. He's not able to hear that, my voice. Megha, are you able to hear my voice?
You are audible, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I think Uttam, please check your audio at your end. Could be problem over there. Okay. So I'll just move forward. So the first thing which you need to always plan out is that whenever you start your business, you need to understand who are your customers. You need to understand what kind of product you need to develop. Typically, this is one of the problem or the mistake which we do when we start our business. We feel that let us develop the best product because we are very sure what customers need. The only problem in that is, and I think you're right as well, the only problem which comes in along with that is the customer changes, the customer requirement changes, the market conditions changes, the political situation changes. It can be any environmental change. COVID can come in, and if you keep preparing for your product development for 1 or 2 years, by the time your product is ready, either some competitor will come in, or some government regulations will change, or anything can happen. And I just want to share this with you. I have lost 7 businesses in last 7 years, and everything has a different reason. The one common reason which we have realized is that we launched the final product directly into the market, and that may not give you the opportunity to understand your customer segment. That does not give you the opportunity to build trust on your customers. And that is why we always say you go step by step. The first level, when you do, you only should talk about customer problems, which we call it as the first idea level. So you validate your idea first. Do not even try to go into the product development. So let's say even if you're trying to do a small business, which is kind of a battery business, or you are running some kind of a food business for yourself, or even a technology product, remember one thing, that customer needs changes, as I said. So go to the customer and understand their requirement. So you might be having a very good idea. Test and validate your idea. Do that for 21 days, understand little bit more about it, and of course there is a structured process to go through it for that 21 days. You cannot just go ad hoc, and there are 21 aspects which you need to take care of one by one. The second level which you need to take care of when you actually launch your first product, which is a very basic product, which could be a very small low cost product, which we call it as extreme value proposition. So you actually launch a EVP in the market, which is even 2 levels below than your main product. Once that EVP starts showing benefits to you, customer starts buying it, you start asking them what more do they want. Based on their requirements, you start developing your next level product, which is called MVP, minimum viable product. And that's where you should be actually start scaling up your business a little bit. Probably you have understood your customers very well, you know the market conditions, and within no time you will be ready to create your blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean strategy is something where you can create your niche in the market. We always talk about unique selling proposition. Believe me, unique selling proposition doesn't come in at the first day itself. It takes time. It takes at least 21 months to identify what your customers need, what is being acceptable by them. You should build up some trust for yourself, and if you follow that journey, you will be able to create your niche and your valuations. And if your value is being created really good, your valuations would be very, very high. Investors would be interested in that as much as because your customers would love it. So just remember this aspect, that you need to build up your business step by step. Once you achieve that, once you have reached to a level where customers love your product, you have started selling your main product, you then start going and scaling it up. When you scale it up, that time you go it from local level to regional level, regional to maybe local to even just a state level or maybe a city level, and then you go to the regional level, then you slowly go to national level, and finally to the global level. And that is where the entire aspect of 5 stages of business which comes in on our Design Your Unicorn methodology. Depending on which stage you are in, first of all identify which stage you are in, and once you identify which stage you are in, it will be very easy for you to take the next steps. Remember this, these are minimum time frame which we are taking. If you follow the steps rightly, There are only 21 steps. Frankly speaking, there are only 21 steps or 21 areas where you need to do. However, it divides into with the 7 pillars and it gives you around 105 areas where you need to improvise. But it starts from step by step. So you start with 21 modules starting from your first level, which we call it as white belt level. You move to us, add another 21 steps. You detailed it out. You complete that into 21 weeks. The same thing, you apply that over a fortnight, then you take it to the months, then you take it to the quarter. But you have to have a holistic understanding of your business and a clarity on that. That is what it is very going to be important, and that is why this 4-week series has been planned out, wherein we were focusing on thought leadership, which is your value proposition, why customers should love you, what is that your business model should be, how you should be deciding your business model, what is the customer experience, how do you get sales, how do you do the sales, how do you have the marketing automation, how do you start bringing so many leads for you and convert them so easily that customers would start loving you, and you bring in the delightment factor for the customers, and that is where the customer experience is all about. The third level activity which comes in when you start scaling it up, you start creating processes for managing it, right from your marketing to sales to operations to customer service, to delivery and the customer service. Then once you define that, you need to identify the digital process and systems available or required for making that processes completely smooth. Reduce your efforts, reduce your waste in the organization, improve the productivity, improve the efficiency, effectiveness of the entire business processes. Because now you have seen that the customer is happy, they want it, and now you have to scale it up your business. And once that happens and that is stabilized, then you go to the 4th stage of your business, which is the value generation. And this has to be done for all the 5 levels of the organization which I spoke about. You will do at the white belt level when it is an idea stage. You have to consider all these 4 aspects out here. When you go to the yellow belt, which is your EVP, extreme value proposition, you have to deploy all these things. But you take 21 weeks to deploy these 4 things. Then you go to the next level, which is your MVP. There again, you take 21 fortnights. So you keep applying these things one by one, and that's how you grow your business to the next level. And eventually you will create so much value in the system that you will never have problems in your finances. You will never have problems in your investments or any other kind of issues. This is what we broadly do in terms of product market fit strategy. Identifying your target segment is going to be very important. You need to define your product levels and then have a right go-to-market strategy. Once these are done properly, you will have a great value created in the ecosystem. Okay, so this is what the 4th stage I was talking about: thought leadership, why it is required for being a good, showing you as a personal leadership, personal branding, team building. You should be be a self go-getter. Even organizations nowadays talking about startup culture. Why? Is because startup culture is nothing but an entrepreneurial spirit. It's all about the mindset, and that is what it starts from you. Your business is you, no nothing else. If you cannot represent your business, you cannot show yourself as a brand, nobody will believe your business or your employees. So you have to be in the forefront, and for that you have to develop your capabilities, bring up your personal branding, and it is very easy to do it. There are some simple steps which we work out with most of the business owners and help them out to create the entire plan for their journey. So it's a complete 21 weeks plan which we work out for them and support them into this journey. The customer delight, which is the final wherein you start doing the sales and marketing aspect of yours, how you generate more and more leads, how do you convert them so that the customer starts buying it from you rather than you go and sell it to them. And your unique selling proposition now changes to unique buying proposition. Then we go into transformation roadmap, which basically talks about process and digital transformation. And finally, the value generation, where you start really nurturing the value coming out of the entire business. You have started with a value proposition and thought leadership, and then we move to the level of value generation for yourself, wherein the investors would start looking at value from you. Your customers sees value in you, and you are becoming a more sustainable and scalable organization. So we spoke about target segments earlier. I think you can go through the earlier recordings over there, but define your target segments very clearly. Identify the value proposition as per what they need, what they should be looking at. Look value from the eyes of the customer. Identify the benefits, what they could be getting with your product. But again, do not do this activity for your first level product also, which is your just a lead, just a customer understanding, just a customer idea validation as well. Even that level, you should have all these documents available with you. You then define these 5 levels of that. So lead magnet is nothing but basically the early idea generation, idea validation, which you are doing, because initially you might not be sure what your customers would like, and it will give you a lot of opportunity to connect with them and understand more about them. And then you go to the second level product, where we will show them the real value for them, what you can benefit, and start with a very small low cost product and a low value product. But it should be take them from one level to another level as far as their problem areas are concerned. Then we spoke about selling. What is selling? Why do we feel it is bad? How do you generate the leads? How do you handle the various objections you get during the process, and how do you eventually close the business? And why you should use social medias for your branding and sales generation. This is what we spoke in the last. Then we talked about the transformation part of it, wherein it is not only just about you as a transformation, but your entire organization has to now transform. You need to set up the right processes. Once you set up the right processes, then you define whether you need people for performing that process, or you need technology or systems for that process. As we mentioned last time, that technology doesn't mean artificial intelligence or robotics or blockchain. It can be as simple as a normal CRM software. It can be as simple as a tele software. But then you should know where to use, why, who will use it, and whether it can be further automated or not. There are a lot of platforms available which are automated platforms, which can help you from marketing automation to sales personalization to your delivery support, and then even customer feedback. And once that process is defined, you just need to find out who are the people who will do that activity, and where are the systems you need that. That is why if you have the right processes and systems in place, as a business owner, you will have more and more time for yourself, and you can focus more on building up a brand of your company rather than getting stuck in your operational efforts. And this is one problem which most of the business owners face rather. They always say that we do so many things that we don't have time. And the only reason why they don't have time is that they are trying to do everything together themselves. Their processes are still not clear. They do not know where exactly they need people to do the jobs. If the results are not coming, they shout at people. They try to get themselves into the work and make it work, because they're bothered about the results. Yes, results are important. That is why they have to get into that. But if your processes are neat, if you define that with the data, you will be able to find out who is not doing right thing. And when it comes to people, you have to figure out how to hire the right people. You have to, if you have hired the right people, you have to also make sure that they retain with you, because people keep changing. So there is a very good process by which you can really retain them better. You can hire the right people as well. And then eventually you need to find out the right systems which will improve the effectiveness and efficiency of your people, of the team members, which will eventually free yourself for more different work and help you to grow the brand, help you to grow the business. We talked about transformation roadmap. framework at the 7 levels. You have to align the leadership, define scope, develop work streams, target operating model, manage change, deploy and institutionalize, review regularly. These 7 pillars are goes for all across your 5 levels. And that is how it becomes very, very important. So go step by step in your business. Do not try to jump directly to the main product, which is actually the 4th level. And that is one of the mistakes which we do in any businesses for that matter. We have done that mistake. But remember, when we have realized that mistake, we have actually gone back to the drawing board. We started with the first level where we started understanding the customer first. Then we launched a product which is very, very nominal value, which customers can immediately purchase, and we are very sure that we can give at least that much value to them. Then you increase the quantity or the amount of that particular product of yours, and then you take it to the final product. We spoke about that how you have to have a business modeling. You should have 3 plans with you when you start a business, because there can be any scenario, and it will help you to have your scalable plans, adaptable plans. 5 things every business needs, which you should be monitoring: numbers, cost, people, market trends, and data. Keep researching about what's happening in the market in your segment. We spoke about design thinking, how you can think of 5-year, 10-year, 15-year blueprint, even when you're just having an idea in your mind. And that is, or even if you are at any stage of your business, you can actually have a complete blueprint with this design thinking methodology. And that is what we kind of instilled during this entire process of Design Your Unicorn. The next level is how to make it frugal, how to make it more efficient and effective with less and lesser cost, less and less people. More people should be able to perform better. How you can automate the entire processes, and that you can do it yourself with this lean thinking approach, and by developing something called quality DNA in your organization. Even if it is 4-member, 5-member team, doesn't matter. Even it is 50 member, 500 members, 5,000 members, that really doesn't matter. What matters is this culture starts from the top. It starts from you. Once you are clear on that, then you can nurture that other people within your organization. And that is what we always call about culture of an organization. You have to build up that culture right from start. You have to build up a culture where every person in your company, they know what your customer wants. They should be more working toward customer delight and for the profitability of the organization. Then we talked about business processes and systems. Where do you need that? How do you do the marketing automation? What is value? Now this is where I think we have come into our today's topic, wherein we talk about value creation. Now, value is a word which we understand last time, and that is what it happens during a sales process. You give a certain value to a customer, and in exchange of that, you get paid for that, and that is called value generation or value transfer. The customer gets the value in terms of the services or the products by which they can get either benefited in a tangible or intangible manner. Something which can be quantified, something which cannot be quantified. There could be soft value, there could be hard value, but they feel value of that product. So let's say you go for watching a movie and you pay 300 rupees to watch that movie. And it's a very good movie, and at the end of it you feel that this movie was so good that I could have paid even 1,000 rupees for the same. That is the value which customer has felt. Customer has felt delighted around it, and that is the value transition or exchange which is happening out here in this entire process. So you start your business from value proposition to the clients, and you generate value for your own organization. That is what the value is. So it's the entire business is all about nothing but about value. In the thought leadership, we started with value proposition. In the finance, investments, and legal, right now we are talking about value generation for your company. So it's ultimately everything is value. So value creation is the customer experience for bringing the delight. Value addition to be defined in terms of availability of similar products in the market and the key unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition is a very common word to be used, but remember, if you are able to create your value proposition so nicely, the customers will come and automatically buy from you. It will actually become unique buying proposition. Founders, business owners have to raise level of improvement of the right partnerships, bringing systems, tools, methodologies, processes that can help you scale up your businesses from, let's say, 5 customers to 50, 50 to 500, 500 to 5,000 and to 5 lakhs. When you define your value approach model, remember there are 3 levels of value which you can create. The one level of value is the one which you can deliver it to somebody. Direct value, the core value. Now the customer will actually add something on the top of it. You can add something onto. So let's say there is a technology platform like Bringle. We have a technology platform which is a blended learning platform, or on that. Now on the top of it, we add a value of aligning the various experts or mentors or trainers to create a value which can be delivered to the third party, to the organizations, to the individuals, and train them. And once they start using that training program and create value for others, you have got created value. So there are 3 steps of value which you need to nurture it out in this entire process. When you start your first product, it is only a core value. When you go to your second level product, it is probably only the added value. And when you go to your main product, that is where you start creating value. And remember, everything value, while customer is getting value from your services or products, you should also be looking at value from the revenue, from the profit standpoint. If you're not making money and you keep doing a lot of things in the market, people keep talking about your good work, it is not value, it is not equal value creation. You are creating value for others, but you're not creating value for yourself, for which you exist. So it has to be exchange of value. And once that happens, the investors will become interested in your business, because the first thing they will ask, how much money you have made, how many repeat customers you have, what does customers talk about you. They will want all those aspects. Sometimes you may not be able to capture the value in terms of hard values or the benefit to the customer, but even the soft values matters a lot. And one thing is very, very important in this entire value generation exercise: ethics and morals. Don't try to cheat the customer. You may do it once, but it will give you so much negative value in the market that you will not be able to recover that. Even if there are some dissatisfied customers, try and understand how you can add value. Even if it means that you have to refund their money if you have accepted, that really doesn't matter. What matters is that they should see the value and they should build up the trust. Probably they're not the right customers. Probably you have not been able to tell them what benefit they can get in. Whatever is the reason, do not keep money of a dissatisfied customer. You might think it is only one person, doesn't matter. But remember, in the business, when one good customer brings 10 new customers, one good customer, one delighted customer brings 10 new customers, one irritated customer or dissatisfied customer takes at least 100 customers of your own. So just be very, very careful on this. And that is what positive and negative value creation. Value creation can be in terms of collaborations. Priority for the basic set of customer needs like safety, health. Remember that. Value status of the companies. Check your business status. Is it a high debt, low margin business of yours? Is it going to be high debt, high margin, or it is going to be no debt, high margin? Define these financial terms for yourself. I understand that many of you might not be able to, clearly understand that. But these are very high level things. These are the basics which you must be knowing it. You don't need how to calculate, the entire P&L. That for that your CA or maybe some accountant might be there. But you should be knowing value status. Is it going to be high debt business and with the low margins? Those businesses are also there. Or is it going to be high debt also, but it is having a high margin also, and no debt, high margin? That could be like technology companies or things like that. New industries, new tech unicorns, cybersecurity, cloud services, online educations are going to take a front end now. So try and find out your business opportunities around this. Try and change your business model and by understanding more about this. If you can go into these kind of industries, please try and adapt to those industries. A lot of businesses are coming, are not able to sustain today because especially after COVID. And they're wondering where to invest, where to go. Always focus that you should also not be able to, you should always avoid negative value creation. Sometimes we feel that we are very good, we can do everything. It can be a killer for you as a negative value creation. It can create a lot of challenges. It may create negative impression into the ecosystem. Blue ocean strategy. If you want investors to be coming in, they would always want to invest in businesses which are niche, which are different from others. And every business has certain niche or certain different target segment of theirs. So blue ocean strategy is all about uncontested market. It could be current customers or new customers. Real estate industry is going a new change, but they've changed them into a virtual space. In fact, now they're talking about more hybrid models, more virtual site visits, more virtual connections. And they're now making more money over the services angle over there. So it is about in the same industry itself, how you can change your business, how the way you work, the way you are going to do. All these aspects makes it a very completely different aspect out of it. We work with a lot of event companies. We have worked with some of the event companies where they were completely out of the business. Now we are running a complete virtual event platforms with them. They're running the same exhibitions virtually and making 10 times more money than what they were making earlier. We have worked with institutes, educational institutions, schools, colleges. They have not even got 30% of the fees paid by the parents. But now with the blended learning model, virtual classrooms, the industry is now open globally. They're now actually getting more admissions online, probably lesser cost, 30% lesser cost. Parents are also happy. Experience is much better, but they can now scale that business to as high as even 5 times, 10 times of the current business they were doing. So just a little bit of an innovation can change your valuations a lot in the same industry. So it is not about that you are lost revenues, you are not making profits. You just think about a little bit of an innovation and you'll be able to make a lot of money, probably more than what you were thinking. In any industry, we have worked with travel industry, we have worked with events industry, hospitality, airline industry is trying to revive. Real estate industry we have worked with. So these are all those industries which has got completely gone, or their businesses are down. In fact, every industry's business is down. Everybody is changing their concept of working from office to working from home. Business sustainability should be viewed from all aspects: mental, social, and financial. Unless your thought leadership is fine, your social aspects are fine, unless you're financially stable, you won't be able to survive. So please keep that understanding right from the start. When you start your first level product, probably just researching, keep your data with you. How much money you are making every day, how much you are spending every day. You should have your daily balance sheet. The first thing which you should do in your organization, first person to hire is an accountant. And you have to do it with your right process and link it up with your supply chain process. Adapt, accept the change, and thrive. Whatever you have right now, please focus on that and grow. In the current financial crisis, strategy is not the goal. It is about creating a unique position. Use blessing, this is a blessings in disguise. If you are able to create a unique position at this time, you will be able to make your mark. But you have to do it fast. You cannot keep waiting that, okay, 6 months, 3 months down the line, something will happen. This was told 4 months earlier as well. Lockdown will be over in next 1 month. Somebody says 2 months. And now people are actually saying even till March 2021, there is nothing going to be changed. So if you are just thinking and waiting that the businesses will change, the situations will change. Believe me, it will change, but entirely different level. So whatever money you have got, whatever revenues you have got, work on changing your plans, work on creating the right processes, create a unique position at this time by bringing in technology. And if you need help, we are there for that. Profit-making companies have long-term approach, where companies focus only to build a valuation, always have a short-term goal. Many of the companies, small business owners and startups, they have this perspective that, okay, if I have a great valuation, I will sell it to some investor and they will invest. But remember, investors have also become very smart today. They know where they can make money. They want to recover money. They don't want to invest and forget about that. Most of the investors who work with us, they only ask the first question, how much money you are making. And if as a business owner, you don't have in front of you at the tip of your hands, fingers, nobody will invest. They will ask, how much pipeline do you have? How many repeat customers do you have? You might have 5 customers, you might have 10 customers. You might be making 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 rupees a month or a week revenue. Doesn't matter. But are you profitable? Or are you making losses? How long the investors will keep investing in a loss-making enterprise? They will not. So your finance, your legal is a very another important part in terms of your property rights, intellectual property rights. Be very clear about your trademarks, copyrights, patents which you can file. That increases the valuation of your organization. That creates a unique positioning in the market because nobody else can do it. And most of the small business owners do this mistake. They think, okay, that is not important. And they always keep hiding themselves behind the scenes that, okay, somebody should not steal my idea or my business model. But if you can copyright it, patent it, or have a different trademark, you can protect your idea, you can protect your business, and you can go widely in open. There are a lot of case studies like this. I don't know if you are aware, in the this new company which has come in for burgers and all, Burger King. So Burger King, which you are seeing in India, is an actually Indian based entity. And there is another Burger King company which is based out of US. When they started coming in India, the Indian Burger King actually filed a case against them that they have been using this brand for so many years, they cannot use it. And Indian Burger King won the case, and US company had to invest in the Indian Burger King company to launch their products. And that is how this new Burger King emerged. That is the value of patent, or your trademarks. It's just a trademark. There is another case study I can tell you. Everybody must be knowing Grofers, the grocery market. One of my client was having a real estate company basis on that name. I mean, not just a client, he was actually my friend and colleague. And they were having a real estate company with the name of the same Grofer. They were actually doing group offers, and they have combined that name as Grofer. And once this Grofer grocery market, this company came in, they actually filed a case against them, and they got some crores of rupees to give that brand to them. I later realized that the same company has been working with the same model with a new name. So they've sold their business they've sold their name, trademark name. Probably they would have spent some 10,000, 20,000 rupees only, but they have got the entire model. Just with that trademark, they got crores of rupees, and they're still doing their own business. So sometimes it matters a lot. So please trademark it. It doesn't cost too much, but if you don't think about it, you may get into a situation where you will repent a lot. And one more thing which you should always remember in your valuations is that be very honest about your projections. Many times we over project our business models, and investors, even if they commit some investment, and if the projections, if the revenues doesn't come in as per that, they back out. And most of the companies die out because of that, because investors loses interest. And that is why your entire model of finance, legal, and investments becomes very, very important. And whatever value you have created in the market, that can completely go waste if you don't take care of these basic aspects. And that's where I come to the end of the session today, in terms of, in fact, 4-week webinar, from a value proposition to value creation, right from your thought leadership to sales and marketing, to your process and digital transformation, to value creation, or finance, legal, and investments. I'll just share a little bit about me. Who are we? This is our organization structure. We are 4-member team. We are 2 co-founders and 2 investors with us, advisor and director. We have one advisor, Mr. Bhavesh Kothari, who is part of Millennium Divas fund, and we work with few investment firms as well. This is me. I've done my Bachelor's of Engineering from Delhi College of Engineering and MBA in Marketing and Finance from Symbiosis. I'm an ASQ certified Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt and PMP certified. I worked with 18 plus years with corporates, giving them $100 million plus hard savings, and worked with most of the CXOs of the large organizations. And this is what I've done in the last almost 18 plus years now. I was at a vice president role at the age of 34 years in the large corporate, when I lost my job at the flash of the second. I was asked to go because they could not afford my salary. They did not have the role as per what the crisis they were going in. I had to face myself the personal and financial crisis, and were left with home loans and personal loans. That time I realized that getting good grades, get a good job, practically has no much future. We always talk about that, get a good job, you will be able to get into that. But most of us who are business owners, they also do not have either these grades, or even if they have good education, how to do business is not taught in schools. They've been taught, what to do it, but they've never been taught why to do it. And that is what matters in the value proposition. Why? We go to our jobs every day just for the fear of it, the greed that, okay, monthly salary will come in. Then I decided that I will work on parallelly some businesses. I lost 7 businesses in last 7 years, and then realized that these are the 4 areas which we have done the 4 series, and there are 7 pillars into that which are more important, and there are 105 factors with multiple permutation and combinations where businesses can go wrong. And that's where I designed this entire program called Design Your Unicorn. Right from your idea stage till the time you become a unicorn or you achieve your $1 billion dream, in 3-stage processes, 3 steps, which is sustenance, adaptability, and scalability. And we are looking at developing 100 unicorns in 2020 to 2030 by transforming 1 billion mindsets and working with 1 million businesses. That's what little bit about us. Sharmila Diwatia is the co-founder and CEO of Bringle, who is also the managing director for LAC Vardhan Association. She's been working with government for their person with disabilities segment. She's been part of the education policy as well. And Sudha is an investor and consultant with us who has been working mostly on the digital transformation space, like your AI, ML, PMP, analytics, all those things we work out with her. Some of the brands which we know right from 2016, where TUI made us as a trusted brand, to in 2020, where Radio Masti 24/7 Singapore and Fever 104 FM Bangalore has published us as Super Startup, and our 21 Days Business Sustainability Challenge Pulse of Wisdom. We have been awarded by National Education Awards as Skill Development Program Institute Award, and we have also been among the top 3,000 startups within India and North America, which is recognized by IIM Calcutta and Department of Technology, Government of India. So that's a little bit about us. Many forums have been featured about it, and I'll just want to know more about you now and open for the questions. Thanks, Nigat, for your feedback, which you say is wonderful session is going on through webinar series 1 to 4. Very informative and knowledgeable session with full of clusters. Thank you so much, Nigat, for being there. And I hope I could clear some of your doubts over there. And if anybody of you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can ask questions right from your value creation or thought leadership to sales and marketing to process and digital transformation, or even the finance, legal, and investments.
Yeah, what question is from me? Answer.
Yeah.
Wonderful session. First, I would just congratulate you for successfully completed all the 4 series on different aspects of idea to unicorn. I was just going through newspaper today that SoftBank has invested, I think, some investment in Unacademy. So how this Unacademy, I was just going through its case study, and how this Unacademy it is becoming the unicorn. I think unicorn of India. I think. So what are the unique selling propositions they are having, so that you can just pass this idea to our participants also?
Yeah, sure. See, it's again the story of value. Okay. Now, when you talk about Unacademy is been helping their customers, and they have in terms of getting trainings from them. Lot of trainers, mentors, coaches are part of Unacademy today. They get paid from Unacademy. Now they have created a brand. They've got such a large database today of students, which they've used the lockdown period to much of their advantage. And yeah, they've got many more people into it, students into it. How does Byju suddenly became a decacorn? within a lockdown period itself. They were unicorn just 6 months, 7 months, probably a year ago. They've now suddenly become a decacorn, which is like 10 times, $10 billion of valuation. It is because of the value they create. You see Whitehead Jr., 16 months, 16 or 18 months, they've sold their company to Byju's in $300 million. So the point what I am trying to talk about it is all about whether there are customers available to you. See, any investor will look at only two aspects. One, do you have customers who are paying to you? You might be doing a lot of free activities, but do you have paid customers? If somebody is paying to you, it might not be paying to you as much what you have invested. So let's say your product is actually worth 5,000 rupees, but you are charging right now only 500 rupees. So you're making 4,500 rupees of loss. But at least customers who are paying 500 rupees, they are happy, and are they coming back and paying another 500 rupees for the next product, or maybe 1,000 rupees for the next product? That is called repeat customers. So when you reach to the level of your blue ocean strategy, which is your fourth level, you have to make sure that you have customers available, and at that level you have to make sure that you have repeat customers. And that is what your fifth level comes in, which is called as TRO, the retaining offer. And those, once you reach that level, once you start getting repeat customers, that builds up that trust. That proves that whatever your business model is, whatever is your offering is being accepted by the customer, is accepted by the market. That is what it is called as product market fit strategy. Now in that process, you might be, again, as I said, you might be losing 90% of the money you are investing. But because you have got 10,000 customers, paid customers, that creates a value for you. Because tomorrow, if they trust in you, tomorrow you may go back and say, now I will not charge 5,000, I will charge 10,000 to you. And because these customers love you, they will pay. You take a case of Ola. Ola started with 6 rupees per kilometer of the costing, which in the normal market at that time was at least 15 to 16 rupees per kilometer in terms of the taxi market. And if you go with a good taxis, they will anyway charge from 15 to 20 rupees per kilometer. They started capturing the market by showing 6 rupees per kilometer, and they captured the market and they showed the value to the customers. Today, if you go to Ola with the same same service, you actually end up paying 20 to 25 rupees per kilometer to them. They are still making losses, but they have been able to create the value. They've been able to create the acceptance within the market, and they have a lot of repeat customers. That increases their valuation, because today the customers might be paying 5 rupees or 6 rupees, what I'm saying. Tomorrow they may pay 25, 30 rupees as well. And with other offers, they can get more and more benefited around it. That will increase their revenues. So it is not just that today's amount revenues you are making, it is that with the current set of customers you have, how many future revenues you can make. You can add separate other products as well, like Ola added food delivery as well. They may add some, they have added that entertainment system also over there. They started charging for the same. So there are multiple revenue streams they started developing out there. Once you have a trusted customer, then you sell them one product or 5 products or 10 products, it doesn't matter. Like today, when you see iPhone, it started with a normal iPod. Now it has become a complete operating system. You purchase everything from them. You purchase computer, you purchase iPod, you purchase iPhone, you purchase any other reading material or any other aspects into it. It's about building up a trust. You cannot build up trust to a customer on 10 products simultaneously. So that is why you have to narrow down your target segment, narrow down your product range. Once you have one product range, trusted by the customer, build up the customer base, and then starts adding more revenue products onto that. That increases your valuation. I hope I've answered your question, Dr. Sanjeev.
Yes, wonderfully answered. One more question is that while creating value, so what are the different levels of value we need to just focus on? One, you have already mentioned the core value, that is very, very important. What are the other layers that we need to just keep while or while developing the or formulating the value proposition? Because value is very, very important. That is the benefits which you are passing to the target market against cost. So what are the different levels of the value creation?
See, there are, as I said, there are 5 levels of value eventually which comes in, and it actually goes along with your product 5 levels as well. And I'll want to refer this slide again because everything is based on these 5 levels. Okay. The first level of value, when you start creating, you are only understanding what customer needs, or you're just testing out what their their value is, and probably you're giving them a certain important information. So let's say you are in a health segment. You can just say that 5 ways by which you can reduce your weight in next 10 days. Now that could be the value. Now that could be the only thing that you say, okay, you do morning walk, you eat less food, or you eat healthy food. You may say something like that also. That is a small thing. Now, to know this information, if customer has to find out this information themselves, how much effort do they have to do? They will have to do probably go out various research. Then you have to check, with the people. They may have to do certain education, degrees or certifications, because nobody knows what is right, what is not right. So if you are a certified health practitioner, you know what are those 5 ways by which you can reduce. Now, if you give that information in, let's say, 100 rupees to that particular customer, and customer has to spend at least 1,000 rupees to get that information, customer would be happily paying to you that 100 rupees. So that is the first level of value. The second level of value which you create for them is, which is the next level value, which could be, now you have told them that what are the 5 ways. Now you also tell them that how you have to do those, apply those 5 ways to reduce your weight by 1 kg in the next say 10 days. That is the second level of value. Now, second level of value, you are actually asking them to do something, and they start learning over there. They start practicing. The third level of value, they may go and say, okay, now I want to go more and I want to reduce 10 kgs of weight. That is where your third level of value comes in. Then your fourth level of value comes in, where they say, okay, now I want to know how can I be more consistent? Can I have monthly training program? Can I have a 6-month pack with you? And that is where you get a repeat customers. You have got a niche strategy, and that is where the fourth level of value you are creating in their life. And then you go for the fifth level, where they say, now I am completely in sync with you. I want every year I want to be with you. That is why you have those yearly gym cost or health packages and things. And that becomes your fifth level of value, which is going to be the retained customer or the repeat customer. So these are the 5 levels of value which you need to create step by step from a customer. One of the biggest problem which we do in our business is that we always try to sell them somewhere around 3rd or 4th level, thinking that it is a big product. If I sell 5 of them, I will get more money, rather than selling small value products. But you don't realize that the risk of losing a customer directly at 3rd and 4th level is also much higher. And if there is any dissatisfaction, your catastrophic results are also much are going to come. But if you are at a first level and you understand your customers better, your investments are low, your effort is low, your value which you are supposed to give it to them is also low, and you build up trust to that level. So you also always have to create 5 levels of value, and that is why it is all about 5 levels. product, market strategy, go-to-market strategy, and value creation. All has to go hand in hand.
Thanks.
I
Thanks. Any other question from other participants?
मैं आपसे पूछना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे अपन कोई बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं तो उसके बारे में जैसे पहले अपन कुछ चीजें वर्क करे या ट्रेनिंग ले, अगर कोई वो सेम वर्क करना चाहते हो या फिर डायरेक्टली वो स्टार्ट कर देना चाहिए, अगर अपन ऐसे हो तो सर।
So Yasin bhai, this question is very right, very good question. See, देखो, you can start the business directly, but the problem is that you may fail. And I'm just giving you the data here. 90s, in fact, 50% of the businesses die out within the first year itself. 97% of businesses dies out within 3 years. The only reason why they die out is because they do not know that there are 4 themes which we have talked about in the last 4-week series, 7 pillars and 105 areas where your business can go wrong. And the problem here is not everybody will know. I myself has lost 7 businesses because of that. I also did not know. I was doing my job. I lost my job one day. And suddenly I realized that I am sitting there and I have to do something different. I jumped into the business, failed. The reason why we have designed this entire program is to make sure that you do not do the same mistakes which I did, or 97% of those business owners do. So it is always better to have your mentor with you. It is always better to work with somebody on that. And it is not about training. You cannot train an entrepreneur or a business owner. You have to handhold them. You have to mentor them. They will find several challenges. So this Design Your Unicorn program is designed in such a manner that you can actually go through this model right from start till the end and make your business self-sustainable.
थैंक यू सर।
Any other question?
Okay, if you do not have any questions and anybody wants to go through this program and reach out to us, please reach out to Vasme or Bringle team. I'm also sharing one link with all of you to go through. You can just go through there and join with us. You will be able to get a lot of information out there. There are a lot of self-based programs. You can do some assessment for yourself to see where does your business stand out today. And that is called, I put it in the chat window. It's bringleacademy.com/course/design your unicorn. You can also fill up the feedback form which is given in the chat window by the Vasme team, and we will reach out to you accordingly. So please put up the message, whatever you want to put up over there. If you want a one-on-one session or a discussion with me, with the Vasme team, we can set up that. So we are actually planning to invite everybody, each of you, for a one-on-one discussion, so that based on your business problems we can guide you. And this, believe me, this is going to be absolutely free of cost. We are not going to charge anything from any of you for that particular session. If you have any questions on that, we'll give you absolutely free on that, and we'll help you if we can. If you can do it yourself, please go and implement it and take the benefit of it. Our purpose is to grow the MSME sector and support the Indian economy, or in fact the entire micro industry economy. So please feel free to write your questions, your problem areas, anything you want to have. And if you want to have a one-on-one session, please mention it into the form as well. By the way, if, there are around 19 people out here. Does anybody wants a one-on-one session with me and the Vasme team to understand their challenges and how we can help you in your businesses? Even if you're wanting to start. If you want that, please type DYU, Design Your Unicorn short form, DYU. Just type DYU if you want that. Okay, so you can even put that into the forms as well. And Dr. Sanjeev, you want to say something, or otherwise we can call off the meeting today, session today?
Yeah. I would request Megha for both of them.
Yes, sir. I, on behalf of the World Association for Small and Medium Enterprises, it's a great honor to propose the vote of thanks to all guest speakers, participants, and Vasmi team. I would like to thank our distinguished speaker, Mr. Anshav Jain, founder and MD, Bringle Academy, making an excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I would also like to thank our Honorable Secretary General, Dr. G.P. Agarwal and Dr. Sanjeev Lag, Executive Secretary Vasme, for support and guidance. Once again, thank you all of you for making this webinar successful with your contribution. Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for your time. And you can take the feedback form from the chat box and you can fill that form and you can send it back to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.